In the previous session about CodeIgniter 3 framework, learning of CodeIgniter 3 framework, what we have learned, just I'm going to repeat it again, just in a short. In the session number 1, we have learned that how to install CodeIgniter 3 framework in our live server, and also the minimum configuration by changing the route.php and also the config.php and autoload.php. It'll stop after changing to run it in our own domain. And the third part is on the third number is template integration, that how to integrate the template, whether we have going to integrate some other template also, and you can also integrate the other template, whatever the requirement by your side you can do. That's the same, the process will be same. And then the page controller, the page creation, because we need various type of page also in a website. Maybe suppose it's about us or contact us or help, fact, that kind of page also, login and registration. Some pages are linked with another page and some pages are not linked with another page, like login and registration is not linked, and the other part like about us and contact us also linked with your landing page. Okay, so that's also already done in the previous session. Those who have not seen this previous session, they can see by clicking top above. Okay, now today's session 2, what we're gonna learn, that creating a login and sign up page, how to create the login and sign up page, and then form post using the JavaScript. So we need to post some data to the server. We need to make a form. This basic form we are going to make, and using the JavaScript. It's not a jQuery, we are going to script the basic thing, that is JavaScript. So we are going to make a JavaScript to sending the form to our database server. And then the third part is, or third number is, create or manage the CI session. So how to create the session, store the session, and how to manage it, and then also the how to store the data into our database server after collecting the data from our form, which is already sent by using our JavaScript. And then we are going to store those data to our PHP MyAdmin database, and then also how to retrieve those data from our PHP MyAdmin and fetch in our landing page, or whether we need to fetch it, we can fetch it over there. And then the another part is update data into our database, and some little bit of stuff also we are going to make. Let's see. Okay, let's begin. So now, in the previous session we have made this type of design. This is a review page or review site design, and the name of our domain is reviewguru.live, whether the customer or the user can review any of a company, and they can check also the reviews of that particular company if they find, or if they wanna find. As I told you, that is we are going to make a login page and the registration page. So let's begin, and it's already connected to our remote server with our local directory by the using of help of SFTP plugin, you can say, our extension. Okay, so now this is our application directory in our CodeIgniter. I'm not going to tell you about what is the application directory and controller directory, and what about the config folder and cache folder. I will already told you on the session number 0, where about CodeIgniter session. This is not about CodeIgniter, this is a working with the CodeIgniter. Okay, so now in this view folder we have already created a login page. You can see that login page over here. It's already designed and it's already a template design. To view this login page, we need to create a controller. I think we have already created in this previous session the controller, the new controller name as login controller, and then in this login controller we can see that is registration also and sign in. So first let's open the registration page in our login from login controller. So what we need to write, as we told you that CodeIgniter only understand about the URL segmentation, or that URL is based on the URL segmentation. So now we need to type controller name, that is login, and then registration. Okay, so after clicking this controller and then function name, it will already render our desired page. The pages look like this, where we have a form and we have some 2 buttons also over here, one for register on with Facebook and then register with the Google. We will do it later on. And then the next form is like the form elements. You can say the element one is name, and then the last name, that means to say that it's the first name and then last name, and then email, password, confirm password, and register now. Okay, one thing I would like to tell you, that is whenever you are going to develop a website or web pages, you have a come with plan on your mind, because this is not mandatory that what it's written over here it's need to be there on your site. No, your site will be depend as per the business, as per the services you are going to run, as per the services you are going to render on your website. As a user or as a viewer, if I type about Flipkart and then if it's a category like shop category, and then if I search this thing, then as a client or as a viewer, so I am searching Flipkart, I am searching the reviews of Flipkart or Facebook, whatever. Facebook, that's a social portal, Facebook, we can say the review also over there as per the design. Suppose I am giving an example, okay. So now for Flipkart, whenever we are typing this Flipkart over here, so someone somewhere they are already registered in this particular website or web portal with their company name. Like Flipkart is a company, suppose Flipkart is a company and they already registered here as a company owner. So there will be two type of registration in this part, one for the company owner, okay, another viewer, okay. So now one for the company owner, another for the viewers registration and company owner registration. So it's very easy that whenever we are going to some registration form, making a registration form for the company owner, there will be some tricky about there and little bit of validation we need. So first we need to make a registration for company owners. Okay, I am making some column or I am making some IDs over here, the column ID or the column name, what we need to design our PHP MyAdmin database. I will later show you everything over there within the PHP MyAdmin database, but before that, as I told you, that is we need to have some plan. Okay, so as per our plan, what we need, suppose we need a ID, okay, and then company name, okay, we can check it like we can do it like company name, and then company ID or company code, you can say that company code, okay, and company name, company code, we can make it like short comp name, okay, company name or company code, company name, owner contact, suppose it's a landline number or the mobile number, you can say, owner email, and what, and suppose it's a owner password, we can say that owner password, or you can check it like, you can set it like password only field, this field, password field, okay, owner contact, owner. I'm creating a basic design for you to better it understand. We need to open our database. Okay, so let's suppose I'm going to make our database, I am going to open our database. Okay, so let's come back with our PHP MyAdmin table. We have already opened the PHP MyAdmin database, and then we are going to make the table. We need ID over here, and then what we need a user code, and then also we need a password and status, okay, password and then the status. Here will be the status, and we need another column over here. So to add another column, we need to type it here, like one column we need to add. After clicking the go button, we can see it here, okay, created on. Okay, this will be the date timestamp, because it will automatically store the time or creation date whenever the form or data going to be stored from our controller or from our model. So that will be our timestamp. So what we need to find the timestamp, this is the timestamp. Then status, we can make the status by default status, that is to set the default status, we are going to take it as a teeny integer, and the number is 11, and the default number will be 0. Okay, now for the next part, for the password purpose, we are going to make it var character and make it 255, and then the user code, that will be, we are going to use var character again 255, and then ID, this ID will be this type of integer over here, and we'll make it 11, and then we will click the auto increment button over here to incrementing one by one, step by step. Okay, this will be for ID, we can make it like this ID. Okay, and then everything is going to be fine, I think, and then we are going to click the save button over here, and then as I told you, that is we need to create another table like user table. So I am going to create another table also over here, and then in this table, how many column we need at least 12 column. So now there will be already 1 2 3 4 column over here, so we need more 8 column, and then after clicking this 8, we need to click it ID. Okay, let's suppose we are going to make it here, and then we are placing it here to better understand, and then this one for our username. Okay, so we have already put the username over here, and then the user type. So user type will be here, and then user code will be here. Oh, we can make it like this, user type we can cut it from here, and then we can make it here also, and then the user code already done, and then the later part, email and mobile, that should be a email and that should be the mobile number, and if any other contact details, if we need to put the contact customer or landline number, then what happened, landline, we can type it landline number. Okay, for the Indian people and other people also, they are using the landline number, so we can use it as a landline number. Okay, fine. Now another part what we need, that is landline already we put it over here, and then the address, and then state, and then the country we can put it over here, and then the status also. So after status, what we gonna make a date of registration. So before status we can put the date of registration, and then we can put the status. Okay, status we can put over here, and then one column, we think we left that column because we have added another one that is called as landline, so we need to add another one column, and name it as created on. Okay, now this should be a timestamp. Okay, and this should be a tiny integer, we can use it here. It should be a var character, here also the var character, and then address is a var character, landline, this will be a number, but we are using a var character because the anything required for the validation purpose, we will do it from our controller function and our JavaScript function for doing the validation part. Okay, so we are not going to here to make the validation part. And then this will be the mobile number, and this will be the email ID as a var character, user type as a var character. So everything I am going to take that is a var character for putting this form very easy, making this table better understandable. So now this will be 11, as I told you, there will be 11 integer will be maximum, we can use it 11, or we can use it also whatever the length you need, you can put it over here. So we need at least 11, and then the username, that should be 255 number of length, and then 255, this is 250. So all var character I am going to make 255, and then what we need, the rest part, this also 255, this also 11 because it's a tiny integer, and this also we can make it 10 12 we can do it like this. And then this is the current timestamp, and then this is the status. So we need to define this status as a 0. By default there should be a 0. Okay, and then again I am going to make a auto increment over here, and then unique, this value will be unique, and then this is also with the ID, and this part the null data, what should be null, if maybe sometime customer has not put the landline number, so it should be null first time. Address should be null, and then date of registration, status no, address, mobile, email, user type. Okay, so it's done. I think most of the part we have already done, so we need to click the save button. Okay, now 12, no, it's not be 12, it's going to be 10. If I put the 10, okay, no, it's going to be 10, maximum is 6. Okay, so we can make it as a 6 timestamp. Okay, done. Now we have the two table, one is for the user table, another one for the login table. So let's decide what we need actually. As I told you, that is we need two type of table because we are filtered those data within into a two table. There is not one table we are not going to use, one for the login table, another for the user table. But one thing I'm going to make in our registration part, I'm going to make the form properly as per our requirement. Okay, one thing we need to forget, that is in this username part we are going to make after username, if we need to add another column, so we need to place where we need to add the column, we need to mention this. So I am going to make it after username, create another column. I'm going to make it like last name, okay, L name means to say that last name, and make it var character and then 255. And then also I'm going to make save button. Again I am going to structure over here, and then username I am going to make it like first name, if name, not username, it's look like a first name. Okay, so first name and last name, I'm going to make it first name as last name. Now I'm going to create the form as per our requirement. Suppose this is a name, we don't need it, so we need to go back to our VS Code, and then we need to go back to our registration page. Okay, this is our registration. Where is our registration? Sign up is our registration page. So I am going to click the sign up page over here, and then in this sign up page we are going to design that so as per our requirement. Okay, fine. One thing we need to do that this is a first name. No, we need it as a first name. It's a first name, it will be a last name. Okay, and then what we need, first name, last name, email ID, and then mobile number. Okay, we are going to make a mobile number also over here. So another input we need as look like a mobile number. So we are going to make a mobile number over here, mobile number, and this should be a text input. Okay, and then mobile number, password, and then confirm password. Okay, one thing I'm going to tell you, that is we are making some creative field over here going to make. Okay, landline, address, state, country, date of registration, we don't need it right now because we are going to make it after registration of the first part. Okay, let's start with the process. Let's discuss about the process, how a person will register. Maybe the person is from the company owner, maybe the person from the viewers. So how that person first going to be registered? Let's suppose a person going to click the register page. After opening that register page, what he found that kind of form over there. Okay, in this form what we need to put, firstly they need to put their name and everything, the basic personal details. That should be the basic form. So I am typing here as a basic form input. So in this registration part 1 they are putting the basic form input. Okay, so after basic form input, what happened, it will ask them to validate their email. Okay, validate their email. So they will get a activation mail on their mail ID. This is the part 2. So this is the part 1, step 1, and then step 2 will be validate email, and then after validating their email we are going to make them redirect to our another part 3 or part 2 page, registration of the part 2, registration part 2. So in this step 3, what happened, in this step 3, after validating their email, clicking the activation button from their email, what happened, they will redirect to form 2, or you can say that is form or reg form, that means to say that registration form part 2. In this registration form part 2, what they gonna do, they gonna update the rest part like password and the rest part, something like, not they need to doing the password, I am telling that they are going to update like state, country, and the other details. Okay, but one thing, that is if a person first they are going to visit, maybe it's a person they are going to visit the first time, what happened on that part. Okay, to make you better understand, I have designed here the planogram, you can check it out. I know that I am not a perfect designer. Okay, fine. Okay, so suppose this is a person 1. Okay, this is the person 1. First he going to visit our portal, and then in this particular portal they are going to click the registration button. In this registration button they will find a registration form. This is a part 1 form. Okay, after they are putting their part 1 form requirement like email ID, mobile number, full name, and whether they are from company owner or whether they are from normal viewer, after this they will get a email. Here they will get a email. So once they get the email, oh okay, before getting the email the data will be stored in our database. Okay, until the email validation. So it will store in our database for temporary purpose, you can say. After their validation, their email id, once they get validate from their email id, and it will check by the system, and then once they passed out the email validation, they will see another form. It's a registration part 2. In this particular form they will update the rest details of their registration. Okay, so that will be the thing we are going to make over here. So let's see how it's going to be made. Okay, as I told you, that is we are going to make an email validation. To do that, what we need another table for the email validation. Okay, we can make it in a single database also. Let's suppose this is our where is our database? We have a database. This is our database. Okay, so suppose this is our database. We have this as a table. We don't need it right now. We need what? We need first login table. This is the login table. Suppose this is the login table. There is a password, there is a user code, and there is a created on. Okay, so we are going to, if we need to collect the email validation and email activation status from that particular any user or that particular user, then we have to make another table. Otherwise, if we just going to use the email validation for validation purpose, we are going to we can use the same table, but here we are going to make another table to make it more understandable for the email validation part. So to do that, we are going to make an activation table. Okay, let's see, it's an activation table. In this activation table, what we gonna make, id is a default one for collecting the id one by one, and then there is a email id. We can check it out, look like user code. We will do we are going to make it as a user code over here, and then the email id, and then the activation code. Okay, this is the act code. You can check it out like act code or activation code, and some other details we need to going to be stored over here. That is act code, and then status. We can make it status. Okay, one more thing we would like to change for this particular user. That is okay, act code. Okay, timestamp. We can make it like timestamp, or creation, date of creation, or created on. Okay, fine. This is the created on. This is again the timestamp. Okay, and 6. I never forget this time only. And then there's the tiny integer. Again, I am going to set as a 11, and then the defined as 0 again. And here the act code, we are going to make a var character over here, and then the email id, again the var character over here, and then the user code, again is a var character. Don't make to forget this is the integer part 1, this is the top one. Okay, in this id part we need a top integer, not there's you can find the integer also over here, but not that one, only the top one. And then the 11 for your basic part. I will not discuss about the whole requirement of this using of integer here, because we are going to make from the scratch the designing part and the development part of that particular website. So for this we are going to make it very short. Okay, fine. Now we are going to make a auto increment over here, and that will be our primary key. We can make it primary or unique, whatever we need, at least unique or primary within this, either unique or primary. Okay, user code, user email id we have done, and then the activation code, that should be null sometime. Suppose a user already clicked that activation email, once they clicking that activate button, it will going to be null. This is our logic. Okay, so this is our logic. In this part we are going to make a created on over here, so it should be null, and nothing else we need. Okay, done. So we have made the activation table over here. So now what we need, okay, first we need to going back our design, and then let's suppose we have saved this design. Once I saved it, see, this is our, okay, this is our name, and then last, okay, we need to mention the first name over here. So I think it's not updated yet. Let's check it out from here. It should be first name. Okay, done. It's first name. Okay, it's a first name. We don't need it. First name, last name, email id, and the mobile number, and the password. One more thing we need to put over here, that is the type of company, because at the time of viewer or company owner going to be first registration, they need to set that if they are from company, if they are from normal user, if they are normal user, if they are from company user. So now we have mentioned, let's see, we have mentioned this thing also over here. See, user code, user type. One thing we can put it over here in the login table, that is the user type. We can also make that also over here, because in this way we can redirect that user, or we can decide that user whether it's a company user or it's a normal viewer. So now we are going to make another part over here, another column over here after user code, that is user type. Okay, user type, and then we have to mention that is 255 over here, and this is the user type. Okay, fine. Now what we done, first name, last name, email id, mobile number, password. Okay, we need another thing, that is select design. So to do that, to catch that select design, what we need a form design where a select part also over here. So we need to get that select design of the selection. Let's suppose, okay, it's a bootstrap. We need to find that what kind of bootstrap they are using. Might be this bootstrap is let's suppose this is the bootstrap they are going to use. Bootstrap styles is a bootstrap means is they are using 5.1. So latest bootstrap they are going to use. So now what do we need? We need a select box. So we are going to open get bootstrap. Okay, get bootstrap, and then we are going to make it. We are going to find select box over here, select form select, you can set it like form select or forms. You can type it form. Okay, in this forms. So I'm going to make a forms. Okay, and then form control. In this form control, we like to find the select input over here. Let's see where is the select input. There is a form control. Okay, we have also dedicated select input in mention over here. I have already seen this thing. Okay, so suppose this is the form controller, disable format, just be this thing select. Okay, got it, this one select. So in this select part we can check it look like this one. Okay, so now we need to copy this part select box over here from there. See, it's very easy to understand. First name, last name, email id, mobile, and then we are going to put that part select. To do that, I am going to copy this thing because it's already pre-designed, so we don't need to interrupt this design. We just going to cut it down from here, and then there we need to mention form select. It's I think it's a form control. Okay, form control, we can use it from here, form control, and then placement mobile. No, we don't record over here. Okay, let's see how it's look like. First we need to see the design by ourselves. Okay, this is the select input. Fine, it's already done, the select input. So now in this select input, what we need to mention over here, that type of user. Like we can mention it look like this. Are you a company owner? We can do it like this. Are you company owner? So in this way we can ask them if they are company owner or not. So that should be yes or no. Only two type of answer over here. Might be yes, might be no. Yes or no. Okay, are you a company owner? Is done. Now what? Let's see. Are you a company owner? We are just asking them, that is, are they a company owner or not? Are you a company owner? Yes or no? It's done over here. And then the mobile part, in this mobile part icon, we need to put some icons. So we need to see that what kind of icon they are using, because there is a various type of icon source also in the market. They are using, basically I think they are using font awesome icon. Most of the time they are using the font. Okay, let's see. We have the icon. I have already checked it out from here, because they are using some kind of icon. This is the icon pack 1, icon pack 2. I am going to click that icon pack 1. What kind of icon I need to see? First of all, this is the user reference. This is the icon pack, and then they are using, I think, icon mail. Okay, icon phone icon. We need to find the phone icon over here, the mobile icon, some kind of a mobile or phone icon. We can use it look like we need to find that kind particular phone icon. I'm just going to use this one as of now. Phone within division. Okay, and class as hidden. Make it as a hidden. Okay, I'm just making a class that hidden, but I have not designed that particular class, so I need to design it here. Look like I have to design it here, so I need to make a style over here, and then what we need to do, just style hidden, and then there's the block display. We can make it the display as a what as a none, display static none. Okay, so now whenever I'm going to click this one, and then you cannot see the password column over here. Fine. Now what we need to do, first name, last name, email ID, mobile, and then are you a company owner? So they were going to select if they are company owner or not. Okay, so now it's done. Most probably it's done. First name, last name, email ID, mobile number. This is the most critical part we are going to understand for this project now, for this session, that is sending the data by using JavaScript. Okay, fine. Now to do that, one thing you need to know, that is form autocomplete of it's set it over here. This is our form. Let's see, this is our form. Okay, this is our form. Maybe you guys are designing another form, it's okay for now, but moreover the form design or the format or the function, moreover it will be same logically. So now first name, last name, email ID, mobile, and register now button over here, and then the sign in button over here. Okay, so now we need to name our form, we need to create an ID for our form, and the method also, method look like it's a post method. Okay, and the action we need to decide, but that will be hash, because nobody can track that where the form goes. Actually it will be going by using JavaScript or the scripting. Okay, now the ID, we can make it like reg form, we can type it reg form. Okay, or registration form, some kind of reg form, and then the name we can do it like same. Name and ID, those are the attribute, okay, for that particular element. Form is the element and attribute will be name and ID. But remember, ID in a single web page you cannot duplicate. Only single ID you have to use in a single page, each and every element. If you are going to make some ID, suppose I am going to make this ID over here, and then also we have to put input element ID over here, and again for the last name, for the email part, and for the mobile part, for the select part also. Okay, fine. Now we need to change our ID and name attribute, each and every element. For that, as I told you, this is app name. I am going to make it same to make it understandable and rememberable. This is L name. Okay, this is L name, and that is also for our email ID or email. I'm going to use it like email, and then this will be what? This will be for, let's see here what we have done in this user table. What we have done, we have done a mobile, so we can make it mobile. Okay, if I put it similar, then it will be helpful to understand and remember. And then select, this is the type, so it should be a user type, so it will be a user type. Okay, user type spelling, I am doing the same spelling to make me understand or remember whenever we need this thing. Okay, fine. Now I am going to make a JavaScript function. Okay, this is the register now button. Let's see, this is the register now button, and in this button, they are mentioning the button 1 over here. Here what we need to do, top below, we are going to create our own script. Okay, I will separate this script later on. Okay, there should be the type. Script type is a text or JavaScript. Fine. Now what we need to do, just save it first. Let's see how it's look like. This is the thing. Okay, to check it out whether it's working or not, or the JavaScript function, we need to use some console logger. To view the console log, what we need to open our page and inspect mode also, to open the inspect mode. So I have opened the inspect mode over here to check it out from here. Okay, now we are going to add the JavaScript. and the scripting function. So now we are here for the scripting function part. Okay, let's come back to our code. Now we are going to design the JavaScript or develop the function, right? So what we need to do, we have already added the ID each and every element. Now I will show you first part, but before that I'm gonna make that is whether the jQuery is working or not. Let's check it out. To check this thing, I have already done this to make the time very shorter. And then this is our jQuery function, okay, normal jQuery function. Whenever the jQuery is loading after in our system, okay, see, this is a jQuery script. Common script or test. This is inbuilt template jQuery. But one thing you need to understand, whenever you are going to make or run some jQuery scripting function, you need to call that jQuery main source file or resource file either on your head of the HTML. Otherwise you can tag it before your scripting and inside your body closing tag. So this is our common script, and we know that is in our jQuery script is this. So it's already inbuilt over here, so we don't need to re-add this jQuery script over here. So now let's suppose if our jQuery is working or not. To check this, we are just doing console log and make it ready over here. So let's check it out that whether it's running or not. Dollar function means that whether the page's document is getting ready. So after rendering the document, this script will run. Let's see, when I'm clicking this inspect mode to see the console log setting, we are just clicking. See, this is our console log and TSS body with the similar option minimum with init is delayed. So this is another part, it's the another function. We think this is the common script function, we don't need this function, we need to see this function ready over here. So this is the registration part and this is running. Okay, don't go for the speeding because we are doing as soon as possible, very fast. We are the running time shortly because we have to work so much. So first what we need, once the button is getting clicked, so to do that we need to call the button name. This is the button, so we need to get back with the button and then we need to put the button ID. So suppose this is our button ID, or we can make it like some like rig button. Okay, so we have just mentioned this rig button over here. Suppose this is the rig button once clicked. Once the rig button is clicked, what happens? Suppose we're going to make that we need to collect all the element value. This is element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4 and the element 5. So we need to collect all the element value. Okay, to do that what we need to do, we just need to create some variable. Suppose variable first name to check. This is for the validation part. Okay, this is for the validation part. Check var name dollar var if name variable if name dollar. This is a simple tag where we need to mention the ID, this one suppose, and then value. Okay, this is the part for the f name. So f name, this is the left side, it's a variable, and the right side it's an element name. So to dedicate this particular element, we need to call the element by its ID. So what is actual ID for this first name? We have to go back and find the ID. This is the ID f name. Okay, so we need to mention it here, f name. One thing we can do, okay, let's first do it and then I will tell you. First make it largely and then make it very easily and short. Dynamic function. First we are going to make the basic function. Okay, so how much column over there? 1 2 3 4 4 column over here. That is for one for we know that is first name, and the another part is for last name, and the third part will be for email. Is dedicated for email. Okay, and the next part is for mobile part. Okay, this is for the mobile only, and then the another part is for this one. Okay, selection part. So this is a user type. We know that this is a user type. Okay, one thing you need to know, that is this is a text type of element or email type of element input, and this is a text input, and this is also the text input. This is also, we have mentioned, this is a text input, but this is not the text input, this is a select input. To collect the select value, what we need to do, just need to collect the id from here, and then we need to mention a tag. Okay, let's see what kind of tag we can mention over here. We need to click dot find and dot value. Okay, this is the format, and find what it will find selected. Okay, so it will find selected and then value. So it's very easy to understand. User type selected value. Let's suppose whether it's running or not. Let's check it out. We're going to click the log function, and first particularly checking this time the user type, we are going to save it here and then reload this page. Because it's a JavaScript, we need to every time reload that page, because it's not a server side, it's a browser side code. Okay, and it will show me the yes over here. So we have already selected yes. If we selected no, it will show us the no over here, the value. Now what we need to do, so we need to validate those part. Okay, suppose one thing, if a person is going to click anything like this one or this element or that kind of element or that kind of mobile, if that person is not typing or missing any one element, what we're gonna make, it will show the red border. That's for the validation part. Remember, it will show the red border. First we need to design the red border over here. Suppose we can make it border and then border danger. If we make it like this, then what happened? Border border danger. Okay, fine. See, if a person is missing up any of the field, what we can do, we can add this part. This is a class. So now what we are going to make, if we are going to make a function or validation function, okay, logical method. So suppose if name equal to nothing, that means null. So what happened? Then it will happen what? It will add this part, dollar this one dot css or add class. We can make it add class. Okay, add class, we can name it like here, add class. Okay, this will be the class, it will automatically add it where in this particular id. Else what happened? It will remove this thing, or it will remove this class and then it will add this class. So what happened in this case? First it will remove, wait a minute, it will remove remove class border, and then it will add, wait a minute, don't need this thing, or we can need, it's not a big deal, border success, SUCCESS. Let's see. If we reload this part and then click the registration button, it will show us the red color border. If we click this, we have the data, then it will check the data whether it's there or not. Yes, it's there, and then it will show us the green border. Okay, fine. Now this is happening once we click that register button, but we don't need this. We need whenever a person is clicking or focus the mouse in this particular element, then what happened? Then it will check. Or whenever a person just unfocus this and going to the next element, on that moment of view it will check. So what we need to do over there, we need a function here. We need to going to make a function. We can make this function like this one, on key up, or you can check it out like key down or key press or key up. Suppose key up, then what happened? This is a key up function we are going to make over here, key up. Okay, so once the if name this id is going to be make key up, then what happened? Then it will check whether the value is there or not. So we are going to make this kind of function over here. Let's check it out from here, see what happened. Reload this page, this one, okay, blue, and then if we delete this one, again it's working fine. So now again I am clicking this one. If again I am clicking nothing or removing something, then it will happen. Okay, one more thing we need to check. If I click this one, then what happened? Nothing will happen. So this is the time. So we need this function and make it dynamic, and also we need to check this whenever this click whenever the user or viewer click this register now button, also whenever the user is passed through or go through this particular element. So now to do this is a key of function, right? Okay, we can call this function by using a class name. This is a helpful for us to calling this function. How? Suppose we have a class. Okay, we need to first give the class name over here in this particular element. What we can do this valid input. We are just doing valid input. Okay, here also the valid input, because we can run class name in, and it will be same class name. We can mention the same class name in each of any element, but not id. So valid input key of function. Then what happened in the valid input key of function? In this part it will check. In this case it will check this dot value, and that will be, you can make this here. Suppose this dot value, if there is nothing, then this dot add class will be this, and remove also the same part. Let's check it out how it's working. Suppose this is the thing. See what happened. If I'm going to make it like this, then it's happening like this. Now it's working, I think. Yeah, it's working. If I click this part, then it will show me the first name we need to put, otherwise it will show us the danger. And then whenever clicking the last name, it will show us the red button. Okay, so now mobile, but I think we have missing out that mobile section. We have not mentioned the valid input tag over here, or class name, something look like this. Okay, so valid input also over here. So now we have mentioned this also, the mobile number is required. Now what we need this part also. So we need to this part, whenever we are going to check the select button, we definitely need to click the register now button, because without button it will not work. Maybe it will work on the changing section, but we are going to make this function or checking this validation for this registration now button after click. Okay, fine. Now this is our key of function, and this is dynamic function, so we don't need to mention here every time. Okay, so we are just going to delete this part. Now what we need to going to check all the fields are submitted or validated or not. So to check all the fields, we are going to make this one need to be clear. Okay, fine. If full name is another function, it's the f name, it will be f name, and then the l name. If f name and l name is not blank, and the email also it's not blank, and the mobile also again it's not blank. Mobile also is not blank, and also the last part what I going to tell you now, that is the user type. As we need the user type is not blank, then it will go like this. Else it will update the form. Okay, left it. Now we are going to close this one, or we are making a log function over here, that is all fields are there. Just mention it here. Okay, now what we need to do, just reload this button, and then if I click this thing, fields are missing. We don't going to make here, because we need to show a viewer or show a registrar or show a user, that is they supposed to fill this form. To do that, what do we need to do? We need to make a alert function over here. Okay, to put the alert function, we need to check whether they are mentioning the alert function or not. Let's see. I think they are not mentioning the alert or any design in their template. So we can go back here also, and definitely we can use the alert from our bootstrap, because we know that they are using the bootstrap alert over here. And then this is the alert. Okay, where is the alert? let's suppose this is the alert page. Live example, we are going to this is the alert page. Okay, this alert we need to show to the customer. So first, this is the red alert and we have to put it here. Like we need to show it where we can show it. We can show it above the register now, because maybe the customer or the user is opening from their mobile, then beside the register button they can see the alert. We need to check, look like this, we need to make like this one. Okay, so to do that we are going to make register now is done, company is done, hidden, this is the hidden part. Okay, let's see hidden part. There is a info clear fix. Okay, we can use it. Suppose we can use it. Wait a minute, we can use it, because in this template you don't get this for every template. You have to make it by your own custom, but it's easy. We just need to put that code what we have already copied, the alert code. Otherwise, because in this template they have already mentioned that alert, kind of alert, though we can mention it like this: id is pass info, and then we can, this is what, this is a division. Okay, so we need to add a, where is it, this is here. So now here we have to type this pass info over here, and then HTML, we have to add the HTML. Okay, HTML, what, HTML, we have to put fields are missing, this type of content over here. Let's see how it's look like, if this is running or not. Let's see, suppose this is the code. Okay, suppose if you click here, see, still weak, enter digit to make good password. I think it's not working enough. Fields are, it's working, fields are missing. So whenever we are going to click this one, it will showing the still weak password, enter digit to make the good password. It's another function, it's already written somewhere in the script, but we don't need this thing. We need only, it will show us the field are missing, the second part. See, fields are missing. So we can make it first look like this thing, how it's coming. Suppose whenever customer is clicking this part, if the register now button is over here, let's see, click it again. I think double click, I have made the click, I have made a double click, I think. Okay, this one. Okay, this thing we need first, we need to see how it's working. This thing is working like this, still weak, good password. Okay, let's see, still weak, that's a good password. Where is written? Let me see first. This is the registration number, and then already have an input, and we have mentioned the register number. This is the password input and clear fix. This is the password info. We have the design also, they have already mentioned the design. This is the class is still weakness. Let's suppose that there is the class something look like still weakness. So what we need to do, we need to remove this class. This is logical part. Okay, don't think that you have the all same code on your project. Okay, might be your project is different, but the logic will be same. So in this part we have the alert function already working over here in this template. We get that alert function within after buying that particular template, but maybe you don't have that particular alert. On that purpose, what do you need to do? I'm just removing this part. On then you need to do this. See, this one. Suppose if we reload my page, then what happened? If we reload our page, all are simple. This is the alert. Okay, suppose this alert we need to make it look like small alert. Is it working or is it workable? Let's see. Suppose we need to make this small alert. To make it small, I think it's not workable. I think small. No, it's not workable. I think the alert. Okay, the padding, I think I have to mention the padding. This one is working fine. This is the padding. So we can make the padding, we can change the padding, because Bootstrap is very helpful and very user friendly. So we have made this like this, P2 or padding 2. You can check it out, like P2 means the padding 2. So now whenever we are reloading this page in the first time, it will show by default alert. So we need to hide this alert. Okay, fine. we need to hide this alert. See, like this one. To do that, this is a live alert placeholder, fine, and this is the button. Suppose this is a live alert placeholder and this is the button. So we need to copy this live alert placeholder over here and paste it here. Okay, live alert placeholder, top of the register now button, and then they have made a button. Under the button is going to be clicked and then it will see live alert. So once the live alert is going to be clicked, then what happened? Then the alert will be triggered like this. It's very easy to understand, really. So we have to make that kind of function over here. Suppose this is a placeholder. Okay, there is a placeholder, and then if this is going to be click this node over here, this the top of this portion, and then this thing, whenever the customer or user is going to be clicked or going to be click that button, our button. What is our button? Our button is registered button. Okay, remember, our button is registered button. Then what happened? Then it will show us this thing, and here you can see alert is dismissible, and also we need to going to make the padding is 2. Let's see how it's working. No, I think let's see, alert trigger is not defined. Let's see, alert trigger, where is mentioned that alert trigger? We have to mention that alert trigger. I think I have to remember the alert trigger from here. We don't need here, we just need to remove this part. And alert trigger, okay, they are telling us that is we have some alert trigger. This one, alert trigger dot add listener. Alert trigger, alert placeholder, alert, this one append. So we can directly call this part. I think, let's suppose if we click this one, see, it's working fine, it's working now. Now the one thing you can understand, that is the close button is not actual what we need. Okay, so we need to make it here, make it a class, and then I think if we mention p2 over there, then it will going to be small, but again the close button is not placing in the middle section. Fine. So I think we need to make the button as small and see whether it's working or not. It's not working again. Button close over here, and then button close, button small. We can make it later on, we can check it later on as per our requirement. But the first time what we need to make the placeholder class and the other class with the padding. We need to change this thing. So first, in the class section we have to put p2, fine, and then in this section you can see that is it's a dynamic function, alert placeholder, get placeholder by live placeholder, live alert placeholder, message type. There is a message also and there is a type also, but what we need the message type is a danger or not, that will be defined from here. A message, okay, over here, and then type. So now we have to see whether the message is success or this will be a warning. We can check it like warning or danger, something like this, danger. Okay, we are going to make this danger button over here, field are missing. It will show us the fields are missing, something like this. So even we click there, if everything as per our logic, then it will show us fields are missing. Yeah, it's showing me, but the close button, it will show us not exact place where we need. They are using the hide portion. Okay, the button close hide portion they are using. Okay, what happened if we delete this part? Okay, no, it will not working enough on that part. So we can make it like hide. If we make that height as a 0, then what happened? Let's see. If we make that height as a 0, then it will work. Okay, fine. We can make it the hide portion or button hide, button close button hide portion. Where is the close button? Let's see. This is our close button, button close. Okay, and we can make this button close in our style department. Where is our style? This is our style department. We can make this button close tag and make it look like hide. That should be 0. Enough to understand. Now let's see whether it's working or not. See, now it's working perfectly as per our need. Fields are missing and we have the button over here. And also if we come down from the previous part and unlike this one, if anyone is missing out that particular field, then it will showing us the red part. Also this part also. Okay. Now this is the alert code and this is the function for our form part. So we have the validation, we have mentioned the validation over here, and then the register button. After clicking the registration button, what happened? It will collect the field value, elements value from there, and once it collect the element value, now we need to go and collect the element value. There's a two type of method that collecting the element value from using the jQuery and the JavaScript. If we are going to use a jQuery or JavaScript, whatever the scripting we are going to use, there is a two type of method of collecting the value from a form. Okay, one for calling single element name and storing the data into the variable within our script, and then we can rearrange the whole variable as per our name. That will be a collecting of our element value from a form field. Another part is very easy, that is calling the whole form and then make it serialize, and we can fetch the form element by clicking the form entries or form data, calling the form data. That will be very easy. So let's do that like this. Suppose if everything goes fine, then what happened? Then it just do like this. Form is equal to our form name. What is our form name? Our form name is look like, we have to delete this part, make it a hash. Okay, our form name ID is reg form. Remember, this is our form name, so we need to call our form name. So where is the place? This is the place. Okay, and we have mentioned that array, because every form they are submitting the data within array. It's a form inbuilt method. So we need to collect first array from that particular form. So that will be first array as a 0, because array will start every time from 0. Array form is equal to this one. Form serialize, we don't require this thing, and then const. We have the another method that is called const or constant, that is form data. It's a new form data, and then form. We have to mention this form part over here to collecting the form data, single data. And then we have the URL, we will mention it later on. First we see that what is exactly the form data here do. Suppose we have making a log function over here and then mentioning the log form data. We have to see that whether the data is collecting or not. If we click here, it will not work. Fine, working. And then if we click nothing, and then here if we do some email ID, taste@taste.com. suppose it's the email ID, and then it's a mobile number 12345678990, and then if we click again, it will show us fields are missing. Achha, one more thing we need to place, that this alert is not auto dismissible, so we need to set the alert auto dismissible. To do that, dismissing this one, alert dismissible fades to warning alert. Suppose we have to make the auto dismissible, then what happens? This is an alert. Suppose this is an alert. It's not auto dismissible. We're gonna make it look like auto dismissible. Okay, we'll do it later on. First, because we are spending so much of time to designing this thing, we will do it later because the JavaScript part we need to check it out first our bootstrap, and then we can make it, no issue. But the main thing, first we need to check whether the form is submitting or not, so we need to collect those data. So now we have to put remember there is a red button over here, red color. So what we'll do the last name over here, last. If we click again, it will show us because we need first name also, so that is the first name. We will do it. Okay, whenever we are clicking this part, then what happened? See the form data, there is a form data, you can check it out from here. This is the data actually happened, form entries. Okay, this is the data, and then form value. This is the form value, form set, form keys, and append also. If we append something, then it will show us the append. But the main part that we have not made that company, we have not decided that what company, then how it's working. So we need to check whether the company this value is there or not. So user type, I think user type, we need to set the user type. Now let's see. It's not showing us a danger. Why? If we click the user type, then what happening? Let's see. Suppose we have mentioned everything, this part, this part, this part, this part also, and then we are clicking this thing. There is a, are you a company? Oh, this value, they are collecting that kind of value from there. Let's see, we have mentioned that kind of value or not. Oh, this is not value, it's a selected part, there is no value. So we have to mention the value or set the value as null. Okay, let's see now how it's working. See, field are missing. Now it's working fine. Now we have the form data. This is the form data. We need to now do one thing, that is we are going to send those form to the controller as we told you, that is collecting the form. JavaScript will collect the data from our HTML or the PHP page from the user browser or the client browser, and JavaScript only can send the data to browser to the function or the server URL, not server directly. Browser JavaScript cannot send directly. In this part, JavaScript will help to call or send the form data to a particular URL. Now to do that, we need a function because we are going to send those data to the URL. Okay, let's suppose we have a URL. Suppose we have a URL look like this one. Okay, this is our URL. So we are going to paste this. Look, PHP, we are working with the PHP. So now base URL. This is the base URL, and then what? This is the base URL, and then suppose the URL. Okay, we can make it more comprehensive, look like this. Form data URL plus, suppose this is a function, and then suppose that will be a, suppose this is a controller. Okay, controller, fine, and that will be the function. Now callback, we have mentioned the callback also, but this is the callback part. We need to build we need to make this part also. This is a callback part. Okay, so we need to make this callback part also. Suppose if we run this thing, just see that what happened actually if we do the thing. like this one, test2, and we have mentioned the email ID like admin@gmail.com. suppose it's admin@gmail.com. mobile number 123456789. we will validate later on the mobile number also, the same thing. If we click this one, it will show us the field are missing because we know that we have not mentioned this thing. And then if we click this thing, then see, send data is not defined because we have not defined the particular function, so we need to define this function. Okay, another thing is that let's check it out. It's not working because send data is not a function because we have not defined, so we need to define the send data function. As we told that we are going to send data by using JavaScript function, not a jQuery function. We are sending data like using XHTTP method or JavaScript data sending method. To do that, we have to create a function, and we have already created that function previously. That is look like this. The function will be send. This is the send data formation or send data function. You can check it out. We can just search for anywhere for sending data by using XHTTP and you can get the whole thing. Or if you will find that XML HTTP request method, you will get that thing also. From where? From where? Just need to type XML HTTP. Okay. Request form data. This is a Mozilla. It's developed by the Mozilla Web API MDN, and you will get all the thing, the required thing. And this is open source, and this is general JavaScript and core JavaScript. So now what we need to do, just we have already that function. This is the sending data, array data, that means the form data, SURL means the path, form path, and then where the action path or action URL. This URL is look like, basically what URL is this? This is the form action URL. Actually this is the form action URL. Okay, and now what happened, this will the URL. Okay, fine, let me discuss about this. Array data means form data, SURL means form URL or action part, and then action path. After the action path, the callback. Callbacks means the request response. Whenever the request is going over the controller, after the request is completed or not completed, maybe it's completed or not completed, somehow it will send us some response, whether the response is wrong or right, whatever, but it will get some response. That kind of response also over here. Okay, so this is the response. Fine. So URL, we have already make a variable and collect that particular path URL in a single URL variable, and then the array data also we have already make up another variable, data, name as data, and we have parsed those. Parse means parameter or serialize. We have serialized this thing in the array data format to string, and then we are going to get, this is a simple format. This is the same format you can get from anywhere for the JavaScript sending thing. Okay, and after that this format is done. Is ready state, status is 0. Okay, once the form is getting submitted to the server, if everything going to be fine and good enough, then the ready state, you will get the ready state also. Maybe the ready state 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There were the 4 ready state, and then the status will be 200. As status 200 means, this means there will be some data, maybe the right or wrong. That's why. If the status not 200, that means the response is not from our source. Maybe some HTTP error, some other URL error, that kind of error over there, or network error. This is for our network status, ready state, network state. Okay, status. And you can get the whole thing if you will go back to the Mozilla or Chrome web developer, web APM, not web developer, so web APM. You can find all the thing. Okay. And then the callback. This is the callback thing because it's a response. Actually, it's a response. You can check it like response from server function, or response from server, basically response from server. And we have already, after if we get the response, what we have done, we have forwarded those response to another function. That function name as a callback. That's why we mentioned that callback. Okay, and we have already parsed those response within a JSON data decode. So we have decoded that response within a JSON and then forwarded this thing with another function. That's called as a callback. Fine, it's already done. And also the last part we need to tell you, that is XML post, because we are doing the post method URL true. This is the format. Okay, fine. Again I'm telling you, this is the format. You can get this format from Web API and Mozilla also, and the Chrome also. Okay, and then the set request header. This is a content type. We are going that content type. We are sending the form by using application and form URL encoded, because the form will encode it. And then HTTP send data. Fine. Now just reload this page. Again I am doing test name or L name. We are mentioning this L name, and this is the first name. Back with the control. We're just going to get that controller. This is the function. We have already made that function and save it to the server. And now see, this is the data. This data will be sent to the server, but server is not sending us any response. To get that response, now this is the time for again come back with the codeigniter PHP command and the PHP code, codeigniter framework PHP code. To do that, we are just taking a variable name as data. You can make it as your own, and then click this, then import, and then post, because it's a post method, because we are submitting the form by helping of post method. This is the data. Actually, what is the data going to be posted? This is actually happen. This is actually the data which is going to post. And in this method, post method, we will get all those data. And this is the array data, like this one. How an array is formation? The array formation I will discuss it later on, very brief, but now for your understanding purpose, I will show you that how an array format is done. Like this is a key element or array element. Okay, you can check it like array element key. This is array element key, and there is array element value. Okay, and comma. Like this, array element key, array element value, array element key 1, array element key value 1, array element key value 2, array element key value 2. Okay, now this is actually the array, and those total array, it will be stored in our data variable. Now to check whether the data is storing or not, we are going to make a function called as for each method, and we have mentioned this like data as key, and then we will do echo function over here, just echoing the thing for checking purpose. Okay, and then there, this is not array, so we have to concatenate those things by the help of this part, like this. Save it, and again just click this register. We don't need to click or reload this page, because the browser end page, but we are working with the server end. It's a PHP, so that's why click register. Now you can see the another function over here. This is the payload. That means to say that if this data is going to be posted to the server or the URL, and this is the URL actually, and then whenever we are going to click the preview button, see, this is our array data. It's not structured because we have not structured, it's just for the viewing purpose, whether the data is storing or not. Okay, fine. Now the next part will be storing those data to our database. We have the data, we have already seen that. First, what do we need to do? We need to create another array for our PHP function, not for our JavaScript function, because forget about the JavaScript, because it's already done. Their work already done. That stage already completed. Now we are stage 2, that is called as a making an array in PHP function to store those array data to the database. But before that, we have forgot one thing, that is updating the password. Fine. So what we need to do, we have to update the password, or we have to collect the password from the user. Again, we are coming back to our JavaScript, and in this JavaScript, we're gonna make something very cool. That is, if a user is submitting all the data, after submitting all the data, if all the data is submitted, then it will show the password field. That we need to do, and hide the above one, this part. So we will gonna make a whole
element within a division. To do that, let's start. This is element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4, element 5. And we're gonna make this whole element within a division and name it, like mention it as a class and mention it as a show up. Just I mentioned because I will do the style sheet for that particular class later on. It's a custom style, and make that name as an ID over here, and then close this division and show it here. Okay, and this is part 1. Just click the P1, and this thing is a part 1, and we will do the other part also, like mentioning the part 2. Here it is. This is the part 2. So we'll copy this thing and then mention it there. And I told you previously, because we cannot duplicate the ID, we have to rename this ID and make it different. Okay, so this is the part 2 part. So this is the part 1, and we have a part 2. So what we need to do, just we need to show the part 2. Show up means this is the hidden part, and show up means it will show the data. Okay, fine. So this is like a display as a block. Suppose display as a block. Fine. Now what we need to do, just we need to come back to below side, and then in this portion, whenever the customer is clicking that register button, then what happens? If everything is going to be fine, then this part is not going to be happen. Actually, here we will hide the previous division and show the next division. When password input 2 is going to be key up or pressed, hash this one key up, then what happened? Then it will check this value whether it's yes or no. If this is yes, customer is put at that value, that in password 2 box, and it will collect password previous box value. So that here it will collect password 1 value. Okay, it will collect that value, and then it will check if this value is not equal to this, not equal to sign like this. If this value is not equal to the second part of the second element value, then what happens? Then again we will show the alert like this. Password not matched. Password not matched. And also we will clear the password. Make value like this, nothing. Both this one and this one also. Let's see whether it's working or not. Just reload this page, again input everything over here, again do the same thing, and then register button. If suppose 1, 2, and then if we click the register button, it will show us. Okay, one thing that is add. Oh, it's already showed that class. It's a red data procedure. So if we click 1, 2, password doesn't match. See, password does not match. It shows us the password does not match. If we click 1, 2, 3, okay, one thing we have to clear that once the key up, no, there is a key press or key down. Then what happens? Let's see. We'll make the email validation also later on. You have to change it. Change. One, 2, 3. 1, 2. See, it's not working. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Now it's working. We need to collect the password one field value. To collect this thing, we're going to make password, and then the value is password 1. Okay, this value. If this value is over here, we can make it like password not equal to blank, or if it's equal to blank, then password are missing. We can do same thing, fields are missing, or password. We can make this field password as missing or missing. Else, it will work like this thing now. Okay. Removing this part, we don't need this thing also, and that also. Only this part we need. Let's see how it's working now. Okay, have we put the name, mentioned it? I think no. So now what we need? We need to put the name also over here. Password, only one thing, single name, password. We don't need the second one. So just reload this whole page. Once it reloaded, test user admin@gmail.com, and then mobile number is his, and this is like this, and then when we're clicking this part, it will work sign, but it will not going to be what actual admin you know. Oh, this only work for because there's a password somewhere something. So we need to check this thing also, because somewhere some other browser like my browser, there's already some password is stored in their clear cache or in this cache, browser cache. So what we need to check again the function like the previous one, that is this part. Where is this? This is here. If the password is same, if the password is not same, I think. No, wait a minute. We need to check it now again. We can do one thing. We can make the whole part within a function. Like cut it down from here and make simple function over here. That is function pass check. Okay. Function pass check means password check. And there will be some parameter. And we don't want to use this parameter because we are going to use basic JavaScript now. Const pass1 is equal to document dot query selector. Okay, this thing dot value, dot value. Look like this one as a query selector, and the ID should be like this. Look like this. Password 1 and const password 2 is a password 2. Now the work will be look like if pass2, if pass1 is blank, then border is danger. Okay, add class. We cannot make this thing. See, this is a normal function and it's not within our document ready method, so it's not a jQuery. We cannot use a jQuery over here. We have to use jQuery within our document ready part. So now we have to add like class or CSS and document here. Document.css or document.stylesheet. So we have to add the style sheet. Document. We don't need document. We need this thing. Wait. This one. Okay, fine. Now,
Okay, so now we have made a function named as parseCheck, and then in this parseCheck function we have made pass1 is a variable, pass2 is a variable, and get the data by using the document.query selected DOM element, and then password1 is the id and password2 is another id, and then pass1 dot value. If nothing, then it will add some border error, or if the password2 dot value is nothing, then it will again add some border error. Again, if all getting fine, if the two input is have some data, then it will check whether it's the data is matching or not. If it's not matched, then it will show that password not matched. If everything going to fine, it will show us the what? It will show us the result, that is true, fine, if everything goes fine. So now let's check it out. Just reload this page, like type test user admin@gmail.com, then this is the mobile, and then this part, then click the review button over here. If I click 1 2, and here if I click 2 5, it will show password does not match and everything got clear. If we click 1 2, and then if we click nothing, it will again show us the error. And in this time, if we click the register button, then what happened? Password not match. It will show us the password not match. Fine. So now this part, the work for this part only. Now if the password button, this button is nothing, or now we have to reveal this function like this. If password is nothing, password are missing, or we can make it look like if this portion password dot value it not same as like, so we are making this function more filterable. Password2 dot value is not matching, then password are missing, or password like the previous one, password not matched. Okay, and if everything goes fine, then what happens? Then it will fetch, get the data and send it to the server. Let's check it out the last time. Test user admin gmail.com, and then the mobile number we can put it here, and then it should be yes or no, whatever. Then see, password does not match because there is a password but it's not match 1 2 3, and if I put here is nothing, then it will show us password does not match. If I click 1 2 3 4 5, then also the same. Suppose if I put here 1 2 3 and nothing, I have done just blank, then it will show the same thing, password does not match. So we definitely need to check the password each and every time. One thing we are going to make it clear that we have this password checking function by using two type of method. One, we are checking this password by using JavaScript normal function as a onChange method, and another part we are doing this check validation by using a button, also by using a jQuery, this thing. So once we click this thing, then it will happen like this, and then it will collect the password over here. So everything is done, and our password, we are collecting the password. Now what happened? Now again we are come back with our this part, and we are going to make an array. Login data, we can set the array name as a login data, like this one. Login data is equal to, we are making an array. This array is responsible for our storing the data to the database. In this time we have to remember, suppose this is our login table, so what kind of data we need, and column name, remember the column name should be same. So now we are going to click SQL part, and then we are copying this thing, and paste it here to avoid our spelling mistakes. Just click it here, and then click it again here, and then here. The user code is this, user type is look like this, and then password is look like this. So now we need to generate a user code. See, we have not collect the user code, so we need to generate the user code for that customer. And as I said to you, that is for array, the left hand side is a array element key, array key, and the right hand side is a array value, okay, element value. So now first we need one step before that, that is generating user code. So for variable equal to user code, if I get the variable as user code, and then we have to generate the user code. Suppose we have generate the user code is look like it's a random character if we need to generate. So it's a basic thing, just type here generate random PHP. This is for number generate random, so we don't need it any generating a number. Alphanumeric string, we need to generate alphanumeric string. It's kind of a number and character both. Okay, if we need to generate a number and character both, like this one, unique ID. See, this is a generic unique ID. So we can use it look like this one, or we can use it look like unique this code. It's a very easy code. If I put it here, and I don't need to make it as a mention, we need to make it as a RV, because review we are doing like this. It's a suffix we are going to add. You can remove this suffix, we are just doing it for looking it very cool and easy. So now we have the user code, so we have to mention it here, $user code, and this $user code, and then user type. See, we have the user type where at the time of sending the data, this is the user type. So we have to make a function. This function will look like this. If you want to run another function within the same controller, you have to put this and then arrow and then get user type. Or we can make it look like very easy to understand. Okay, suppose as I told you that this data is a total array data, we can hold the array data within, we are holding the total array data within this data. If we need a particular array data or single data from this particular array, what do we need to do? Just need to type this thing, data, and then the element name. So what will be our element name? Our element name is look like this one, user type, this one. Okay, now what do we need to do? We are going to make a if else formula. Okay, so this formula is look like if this is check yes. Okay, then what happened? Then question mark is if format. This is the result for if. Then it's a company. If, that means else format. This colon dash means it's a else format. Else it's not a company. Then what it will be actual? It's a user. Okay, it's a user. Or you can make it like general. We can design it like general. Use company and general. Okay, and then the password. The password is what? Password is, it will already here the password. So again I have to type data and then the password. See, it's done. User code, and then user type and then password. One thing, we have the first name, last name, email ID and mobile number. So where we need to store? We need to store those things in a user table. So we need to make another array for user data. We're just typing user data over here and then make another array for our user data table need to be stored. That is, again, to get the column name, we are clicking the square button over here and then click copy everything from here, this one, and then paste it here. Okay, just going back here and set it as needed. Sorry, this one done. This is the array format, same every time. Okay, now the f name, we need to collect the f name. To collect that particular f name, we need to mention the same format and only need to change the element name, like f name over here. For the L name, we can mention it here and then only check the L name. User code, we know that we are generating the user code, so we need to mention user code over here. And then the user type, again we are doing the same thing over here, like this one. Just copy this thing and then paste it here, user type. And then the email ID, for the email ID purpose, what we need the same format, only need to change the element name. What is our element name? Element name is email, and then mobile, the next part is mobile. Okay, mobile, done. But we don't have landline, so it will be, we don't require this thing because we don't collect right now the landline and the address and the country. We don't collecting this thing from the user at the time of first step of registration. And then date of registration, yeah, to generate the date in a PHP, we need to collect this format. We need to type this format YMD. This is the YMD format, means year, month and date. Okay, another thing is that do we have any column left? I think no, nothing. Okay, fine, it's done. So we have two data. One is for our array data for responsible for the login table, and another for responsible for user table. Now we need to store. To storing this data, now it's time to deal with the model. So here we need to create a model. To create a model, just here in the model directory, we have to type a file name. Like we can type, this file name is look like function model or main function. Okay, main functions, or make it very short to understand, main underscore mdl .php. Fine. Here we need to get the format in main model. Again the same thing, the first name is big capital letter, main mdl as a CI. This time it's not a controller, it's a model. Okay, CI model. And then here to put this thing. Okay, fine. Now need to do, okay, now we are going to make a model function, right? We have the model. To make our time very easy, short, and make this function very easy, we have already predefined some model for you. This is a model, main model, and then we have to make a constructor for this. By default constructor, one thing you have to remember, in Codeigniter framework you can call each time or only single time the required part of your project. Suppose we need to connect now the database. How to connect this database? We can call it from here, otherwise we can call it from our using config and then autoload, and then go back to here and find the database, because it's a library, so we can call the database library from here also. Otherwise we can call from particular model. So I'm doing here, I'm just typing this database over here, because whenever the autoload means whenever the domain first called from any browser, the first thing is from the server, it will call the autoload method from the framework, and it will check whether the all part of this file or project is correct running or not. And then now it's not required. Fine. Now the another part what we need, that is we need to set up the database. To set up the database, once we call the database, it will not getting connect because we need to give the credentials. So we have in the config folder, come back with the config folder, click the database.php over here, and then here we need to mention the database username and password. Fine. Here we have the database username and password. For you definitely it should be different, it's not the same. It will be provided by your server administrator team. Now we have connected already Now we need to make a function. Fine. To make a function, suppose we have to make an insert function over here. So just I'm typing the function name over here, and see, I'm just collecting this function from here. It's a pre-designed or predefined. Already I have made this function previously to run, but moreover the function will be same. Each and every time the function will be same. To get all details about the function, check our other video about the model only, Codeigniter model database or function details, to discuss about more thing. Otherwise you can check it out. Just visit codeigniter.com and then visit their tutorial. You can get the main function model or database connection over there. Also the format will be same. This is the insert method. I am typing here the insert method. In this insert method, this is a query. It's a run single query. It's a variable. Actually the function is this. Actually we need this to run, and there will be the table and there will be the parameter. It means it's a data parameter, but we are making this function as dynamic. That's why this table and parameter should be here in the insert method. Parameter and comma the table name. Okay, so this is the parameter insert function, and with the parameter we can submit this function with data. So this is the insert function and parameter over here and the table name over here, and then this is a query. In this type, or by the making of this dynamic function, we can run anywhere the insert function. We can run for anywhere from the controller and call that insert function. Just change the parameter value and the table name. It will work. That's why we make this as a dynamic way. Okay, so now insert with the parameters and table, and then db insert table name and then parameter. This is the format. Don't make the parameter first and then table. No, because this is the format defined as the Codeigniter, from the Codeigniter. First we need to put the table name and then parameter. You can change it here but not there. Okay, now if the result is okay or true, then it will show us the true, otherwise it will show us false. Simple enough. We can make it very easy by typing this one, like return in a single line, return query. If there is a query, then it will return true. I mean to say that if there is a query is true or false. If there is a true something here, then it will show us true, otherwise it will show us false. Just return it and delete everything. It will very easy to understand. Now we have the insert function. Just copy this function and go back to your login controller, and in this controller we need to run that function. Okay, now we have the login data array and we have the user data array, and we have to make the model function. We have already made this thing, that is find function, and also over here insert function. This function is required for checking the existing method or checking the existing data, whether it has already in our database or not. Okay, to checking this thing, we have made this function as a find parameter and then table. They will select, it will select and fetch all the SQL data by using this method. Okay, so this is basic thing, and the main thing we need, that is insert data. Okay, to do that, again come back with the controller, and then once we're done with our all the things, we need to check whether the data is there or not. So to check, how could I do that? We need to do, okay, now we are going to check whether the data is already exists in our database or not. To do that, we are making a variable like check exists equal to $this, and then the model name is a main model, and then the method is getting the data, that is find function, and in this find function we will make an array. But before that, I would like to show you something, that is search. I am making another array over here. That is, what do we need to search? Basically we need to search by using our email, because email, we are getting the email that is unique. I mean to say that email a customer, whenever a customer going to join over here, that is here. Okay, let's suppose. Okay, so now email, that means whenever a customer, new customer is going to join, we are checking their email, whether it's repeated email or not, duplicate email or not. Because user code, if we check by the using of user code, suppose we are opening this function again, .php myadmin, this thing. Suppose if we gonna make and check the exist method by using a user code, remember, because whenever the function is going to call, each and every time it will generate a new user code, so we cannot use the user code at the time of checking. We only need to use the email, okay, comma, and then the email id. How to collect that email id? Data, and the rest part is email. This is the array. We are making this array, placing it here, and then the table name, our table name is user tbl table. Fine. If the check persist, or that means if it's showing us the true means something, the data over here, else it's false. If it's false, then it will store the data inside our user table. So now to storing this, we are making some variable over here, store user data, store user, and then again we are calling the same function, not this one. We will call the another function like here as a insert function, because in the main model we have made another function called as insert parameter and then table. Insert function, it's a dynamic function. Insert parameter here and then table name here. Table name already mentioned over here, and then we need the what customer need to insert. This one customer need to insert. So this is the data, array data. Again, this is the two table we need to store, one for the user table, another for the login table separately. So first, if the user table already getting inserted, then what happen? If then it will show us true like this. If this query is running well, then it will show us true, otherwise it will show us false. So if this first insert is going to be correct, then it will fetch us true method or true in the response. If it's true, then we will store login. Fine. Store login. Store login. Okay. Here again we are running the same function like here, only we need to change only there, it is login data, not this table. We are going to store it in a login table, right? So now we need to put the variable or the logic, that is if again if the login data is going to be stored, then it will show us that everything is correct. So now we are going to fetch the response. To fetching the response, we are going to fetch the response by using JSON encoded data, and it will be a array data. So to do that, we are going to make an blank array, results equal to array. Fine. There is a blank array, sorry, this one is a blank array. In this blank array, we are going to store the data like result. Now array element name we need to decide, that is status, and then we are going to make it 0, that means correct, and then another array element we are going to make it here, that is message. This should be look like data stored successfully. Fine. Once it's showing us that false, then what happened? If it's showing us false, then it will show us here as a 1 for the status, and data stored failed. Like this. One thing remember, that is this is for user only, but what happened if check exists, if this time it has got some data, then what happened? If it has got some data, then it will fetch like this. It will store this alert, that is status equal to 1, and then message will be this user exists. Okay, fine, this user exists. Okay, so everything is done. We need to echo this result, because we have to show it from the JavaScript, from our page. To do that, this is our result, and everything whenever it's closing, this is our opening of that function, and this is our closing of this function. So before closing, we need to echo JSON encode result. Fine. Now store it. Now let it be check. So let's run it. Whether it's Okay, one thing before run, see, this is actually not a array. The array formation is look like this. Okay, now run first time. If we click this thing, then what happened? It will show us data stored successfully. Let's check it out whether it's working or not. Login table, we have the data like this one, user code and company, and then password and status and all. In this user table we have the data also the same thing. Okay, and the next time whenever we are going to click this part, then it will show us this user exists. Okay, again I am reloading this page. It will not store the second data because it's a same email ID is the same, and the login part again it's a same, so it will not store because everything is same. So as of now we have stored the data into our database by using the insert query from the codeigniter part, and we are checking the exist data also by the using of finding method or find query. Okay, and for the next session we will learn how to send the data by using codeigniter email, and how to send actually the email to the customer, to the user, after they get successfully registered at the step or part 1. So sending an email